Welcome to Exploring the Ozarks, where we tell the history and stories of locations, places, and people that make up the area. Here's Matt, who may be beat up momentarily. We don't know.
Start moving furniture.
We just have a man here that has masks.
And one name. All right.
And one name.
This
I
is like
think that's the bigger thing here.
Yeah,
Is that it's just one name.
We're going to get into this. All right. So I am Matt Graham. I am Vice President of Central Bank Mortgage. One of them.
Avid outdoorsman. World War II buff, as we found out with our last guest.
I almost nerded out, dude. Like that.
You did nerd out. Don't even go there.
So you know what happened was it turned from one episode into like multiple now because I nerded out too hard.
I think that's actually true.
So
it's very much true.
We are here at Springfield Studio One. David's painstakingly put together a kick-ass podcast room, a room that you can film a sitcom in or whatnot, or throw a party in, which some people have done.
Well, that's this guy right here, actually.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes full circle.
So full circle.
And then he's also got what we just showed off is his theater room that he's got a full stage where you can do screenings, you can have bands, all that kind of stuff that we talk about every week.
Yeah.
We're going to blaze right through it for sure because we want to talk Patreon. Give me 30 seconds on Patreon. Give me your 30
Patreon,
seconds.
$5, $10, $25 increments for the individual supporter helps us pay for this because we don't charge people to come onto the podcast. So if you want access to cool content and want to support our mission exploring the Ozarks and getting to know people and their stories, please support us on Patreon.
Yeah, because there's a lot that goes on before this show, after this show, when we're out filming on locations that you don't get to see all of it. So David,
a lot of it is the back end stuff like editing and processing and social media posting. And
the outtakes.
It just takes time.
Me almost falling out of a canoe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think Jake got that. But, so today we are super excited to have the man that has many names. Today,
the myth, the legend.
Hawk.
Hello.
Wrong one, sorry. Sorry.
The hello. You can tell he's been in entertainment and radio with the hello. Mr. Hawk, how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful.
Thanks for being on
Mr.
here.
Hawk your father? Or
Mr. Hawk.
And no.
Sorry, I did open up a sore subject.
Oh my
anyway,
goodness.
That's all right. With the guy with the name by Hawk, I'm sure there's some stories. So we're going to get into it real quick because the way you described the events that you put on and the things that you do, you own it, man. You own it. What'd you call it? Nerd events that we're going to talk about.
So my big thing is my podcast, Fanatics and Fan. We're working on
I was just on.
Which I was getting. We are. This is our 10th year.
Whoa.
Yeah. And we talk about so there's all kinds of podcasts that do all kinds of things, but we talk about nerd from the inside out.
All right.
With a few exceptions.
All right.
This coming up, this being May, I decided that May is for movies, so we talked about the upcoming summer movies. And we went into it thinking there weren't going to be that many because so that happens.
Yeah.
It happened in 2020. It was 2018.
Oh,
the list was very, very tiny, very, very small of nerd movies that was coming out that summer.
Oh, I see. Specifically nerd movies.
Movies. And then so we went into it this year and
There was a lot.
It's like
a lot.
triple
20.
of what we were looking at.
I think it was it was a lot.
Do you think it's
the one we're most excited about is Asteroid City? I think Wes Anderson film.
You are excited about it. I'm not a Wes Anderson fan.
Well, you guys were talking about Flash a lot.
All right, for those of you that are out there that don't know some of this stuff, you're about to find out. All right, so
a little bit.
Do you think it's because of COVID and it kind of slowed everybody down and they had to wait to come out with some of this stuff?
So the first year that we noticed that things were bad was almost 3 years before COVID.
Right.
It was one of the worst years for nerds. We noticed that we were doing so every year we do this big show around San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
We can't afford to go, obviously. So we sit here and we pick it apart a little bit. We watch the updates on YouTube and whatever. And
that's cool, though.
And this one year, I want to say it was like 3 years ago, and we were looking at it, and we spent a whole weekend over at the Creamery, which we absolutely love, Springfield Creamery.
Oh, yeah.
We spent the whole weekend there, and our biggest job was to look at these updates.
All right.
And we're just waiting, and we're looking, and we're waiting, and we're looking, and
none of them.
We have lunch, we have dinner, and we're still waiting. And I'm like, oh my God, we've got to fake this for the next 3 hours.
Oh,
because there's nothing out there. And then there was a slow progression. And then, of course, a huge upgrade with the
Sure,
Avengers and the MCU.
Well, as
and,
MCU takes off and stuff.
Yeah,
Other
man.
industries, other film studios
what's-
are copying. And
What's
the
MCU?
Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Ooh, sweet. All right.
Avengers.
I can follow that.
Stuff like that.
All right. Yeah.
which I'm not happy about the current storyline.
Well, we won't go into that.
With
Dismal.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
we don't. If you want to geek out on stuff, go watch Fanatics and the Fans podcast.
That is correct.
That would be
So
a perfect
say
way
it's-
to get into that.
Fanatics and fans.
For the Fanatics and the fans.
The fans.
The fans.
Just want to make sure people knew. Fanatics and the fans. It sounds
It
interesting.
was my
though.
first time being on his podcast this last week. So
How'd he do?
It was very exciting.
He actually, so oddly enough, my show is a lot like our normal conversations, and people don't always understand that.
I can fully understand what you
We
mean.
just it's just, and the way my show started was I was sitting at a convention called VisionCon,
Okay, I've heard
and
of
we
VisionCon.
sat there for 3 hours talking nerd. And I said, why didn't we just record this?
yeah.
And the very next month, my show was born, because I was like,
And 10 years later, though, dude, that's
10
like
years
before
later.
podcasts were really even talked about.
I credit
Yeah.
Kevin Smith for inspiring me to do it.
Okay,
Perfect.
And why is that?
Because Kevin at the time had like 10 of them. And a lot of them was just like, he's walking into his kitchen and he would start talking.
Okay.
He'd turn on a mic and start
Well,
talking.
and I would
Yeah,
say
'cause-
some of this comes from the fact that you were on radio for so long, and that's
Yes,
that's a big
yes.
passion of yours was radio and all that.
Where
Well,
were you-
entertainment period.
Where were you on radio?
Here in Springfield.
Okay, which
In
station?
Springfield. I did, what is it? It was, actually, I think their call signs are still the same. It's Hot 106.7.
Okay,
Was when it was
Oh, yeah.
106.7. Yeah.
And then before Jock turned into the sports station, it was Rock 99,
Yeah.
and that was my,
Yep.
that
Loved
was my-
Rock 99.
That was
right?
my thing.
So you were just a regular day. That was your day job.
No, I actually had the worst. Yeah, actually, let me rephrase that. It was my day job, and it goes down in history as one of the worst jobs I've ever had.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. We had a radio show for a while, and it was fun, but it was a lot
It
of
was
work.
on
though,
it was
too.
on the AM channel.
It was on KWT. It was on FM too. But
KWTO.
KWTO
So, I
560
actually-
AM.
I actually liked that channel.
Yeah.
What I had with my job was, and I actually won a contest. One of my job was I was the board op for Imus in the morning,
No way.
and then on Sundays I would broadcast the NASCAR race.
Oh.
You want to reevaluate your life? Sit in a radio studio and watch 100 guys turn left for 2.5 hours.
And what was your job during that point?
Flip the switch.
Oh, that's all you did.
That
I
was
was sitting
it.
there thinking, are you
love
commentating
it.
that?
I
'Cause
knew.
that
I love
shit's
it.
hard, man.
Flip the switch.
That's hilarious.
But I actually so Imus was giving away a book about it was something about Machiavellian bosses or whatever, and I actually called in from the radio station, and he was like, "What's your job?" And I'm like,
Well,
"I'm a board operator."
I'm just a board operator.
They were so mad at me, and Imus loved it. He loved it. It was great.
Oh, I bet he did. He had a good show though, so that was probably entertaining a little bit at least because he had great guests. But
Every once in a while, it was. I'll be honest with you, it was a little boring.
at least I'm sure, but a little entertaining, hopefully. But let's go back a little bit
Okay.
on who Hawk is, or maybe this was simultaneous. I'm not sure my timeline here, but the elephant in the room here is these masks that you have right here.
If you've ever watched Nacho Libre, you know what they are.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
one of the best movies of all time, right? I'm sitting here looking at these things, and I'm actually kind of jealous that I never got into wrestling. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up, an '80s kid, Hulkamania, all that kind of stuff. Man, it was like the.
You went to baseball instead.
I mean, I did, but
yeah.
to pass some time, you always got in and you'd watch some wrestling.
Of course.
And wrestling's
Yeah.
such a huge sport now. Like it is. It's amazing to still see how many times these guys are on TV
Yeah.
throughout the week. And it's one of the hardest sports
Yes.
you can ever fathom trying to do. Is these guys tour, what did they say, 286 days out of the year if you're
Wow.
a professional?
It's actually it's 360.
360.
They work 360 at certain points in their career. You could work 360,
Unreal.
even one 360.
I mean, you've got to love it.
yeah.
First of all, to do that.
Yeah.
But to be in shape and do that and not brutalize yourself. And I'm sure they're getting injured and they're working
or their
through
opponents.
it.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've
because
got
I hate
trust
to
them
I hate
too.
to break the magic. If anybody doesn't know this, but it's all you're not trying to hurt each other. You're trying to put on a performance.
That's not necessarily true.
well, okay.
You have walkthroughs and things like that, but it is, you know.
Nah, it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, that
There's
could be.
the last time I wore this mask was with a guy I absolutely could not stand, and we were trying to kill each other.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's super awesome.
We were just trying. It was just, oh, my goodness.
So is that the general rule of thumb, though, with professional wrestling, though, is you're more putting on a show than you are trying to hurt each other, because people want to see those flamboyant moves.
I am a performer first and foremost.
Yeah.
But when there's a little bit of hatred in there, it really sells the moment.
I mean, it was 3 weeks ago, and we were setting up for the ring, and one of the guys was all in my face, and his son got in my face, and I'm just like, oh my God, really? And of course I can't hit this kid. And he's one of those annoying kids that just would not stop, just, picking at you. I was like, all right. And
I'm gonna beat your dad
an hour later, his dad is in the ring with his back to me, and I'm holding this steel chair, and I'm like, here we go.
That's the good thing. The good things in life.
Or actually, an even better story. My son was always wanted to be a wrestler. Actually, he was my stepson. And I was happy to make that happen.
Watching Dad do it, oh my God.
But I knew there was just no way that he was going to be, in his rookie year, going to be able to main event anything. So I orchestrated a main event for him.
Oh, good for you.
With me.
Oh, so all right.
And the other rule was that you don't get to win until I tell you to.
Sure.
That's just bottom line.
Right.
When I say you're ready, you're ready.
Okay. But you won't beat Dad just easily.
Right. You won't. You're not going to beat. You're not just going to come out here and win. And the bad part about that is I also ran the show. This was my company.
Oh.
So we showed up for a show that starts at 7. We had to be there at noon.
Right.
In Texas.
Oh
gosh.
Where it's hot.
So
in September, it was 126 degrees.
Stop,
my
dude.
word.
And you got to set up everything too,
right.
though.
And then
you're going to say
raining.
there's no AC in this, is there?
No,
or were you outside?
So it was a VFW, so it was bad AC. They actually had it.
Almost worse. There's no breeze either.
So we get ready. So again, we're there all day, and then our match is at like 9.
Oh my God.
So I'm reconsidering my whole worldview. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna come up here and let you pin me. I just didn't want to do it.
Just get it over with.
But he's so excited. He's main eventing, and he's main eventing with me.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just trying to put on a show.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, by the time I stepped in the ring, my age and that heat had got to me. I was so tired.
Oh no.
So we go to lock up, and he hits me so hard.
Oh gosh.
And I've never had this happen. I've been a fighter and a wrestler all my life. I've never had this happen. He hit me so hard, my eyes were blurring. And stayed that way for a good 10 minutes.
And you're trying to fight through this and put on a show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later,
right.
I realized I've got a chair shot coming up. I hit that boy so hard. I'm embarrassed to say how hard I hit him. And what's sad is, so he's 6'2" and just under 200.
Oh, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a big boy.
Oh, jeez.
So I hit him, and he didn't move. He didn't react, and he took it well. But now I'm upset. So I hit him again.
My one challenge, jeez.
And he still didn't react. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I realized he didn't know what he was doing. So this is a little bit my fault, but again, I'm still upset
but you get
about
hit
the
by a
shot
chair.
from 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I Superman punched him with the chair, and he got so mad. This is when reality kicks in, because I'm also the guy that's running this show. I'm in charge. David understands this. When you walk into my house, you're my responsibility, sort of thing. So my crowd comes in, I'm responsible for you not getting hurt by these idiots on the other side of these guardrails.
Right.
So I hit him with the chair, and his job was to snatch the chair from me and just get rid of it. That's how we got rid of it. He got rid of it. He snatched it from me and got rid of it, and I ran from it. But again, I've just hit him hard.
So you're really running now.
Well, before that, he snatched the chair and slung it in the wrong direction.
Oh no.
So if this is the guardrail, he slung it that way.
Oh man.
And my brain's like, oh my God, the audience. But he was so mad, he cleared the audience.
Oh jeez. Wow.
He was hot.
Sold it. Though,
He was
man.
hot.
And then what?
And well, the best part of it, we got back in the ring, and I had actually brought some other high schoolers in, because he was still a high schooler at the time.
Oh.
So I brought some other high schoolers in, and they got to be a part of the match a little bit. They got to beat on me a little bit.
That's awesome. They got to beat on me.
And then one of my heroes, a gentleman by the name out of St. Louis, a gentleman by the name of Iceman King Parsons, was the special guest.
All right.
So I got to use his finishing move in front of him, and it was big time fun.
All right.
And then I let him pin me, and he didn't even realize it.
Uh-oh.
It was 3 years later when he realized he won that match. The adrenaline was so big.
Oh,
it was
okay.
3 years later, he didn't realize. He thought he was on the bottom.
Did he just fall in love with it after that? Then, like,
he did, but he also realized how much work it was. I put forth the worst case scenario in a wrestling event.
Good.
The heat in Texas was just crazy. Wrestling last after doing all of the other major work.
Yeah. It's not like you were stopping for a nap or anything,
right?
Or eating much or anything.
And he is the only person to ever wear this mask for me. Oh, so he actually worked 3 times that night because I needed him to come out while I was out.
Yeah.
And so he came out as this, and unfortunately, even though there's a height difference,
you should show off the mask now.
Yeah.
Probably a good moment for that.
Yeah, let me do that.
I mean,
he's gonna put it on.
Well, first of all, who signed that one?
Actually, I'm going to show you 2 great signatures. But let me put it on first.
All right, yeah. Cliffhangers.
Love a good cliffhanger.
I want one of these.
It might not.
Where do I get one?
It won't go on.
So you got to like stress it on.
I don't want to.
That's all good. You could just hold it up to the camera and show it.
Yeah.
I can do that. So this is my ninja mask, and the name of the character is Renchi. That mask was bought first to pull off the character, and I did some research and realized that was an actual guy in the '60s who wrestled out of Texas, and his name was Kung Fu, and that was his mask. His family sold his mask on eBay. I got it.
So this has some history, man.
Well, here's the history of it. Rey Mysterio.
That's who I was getting ready to say.
Rey Mysterio told me whose mask it was, up in Kansas City when he signed this.
Whoa.
And then. The sad part is before Ray got a hold of it, where is it? Mr. Foley got a hold of it.
Stop it. You got Mick Foley on there too.
And so after Mick signed it and Ray signed it, I couldn't wrestle it anymore. So thankfully I found a replacement.
Dude. But you know what? That says a lot though, because you think about wrestling and there's so many different little divisions and so many that are on tour. I mean, Nix's Sucker Days had one last year. Were you a part of that at all?
It was actually last weekend.
Well, did they do the wrestling too?
They did, yeah. So I can't wrestle in Missouri, and I don't know how anybody does because Missouri is different when it comes to wrestling events.
Explain.
It's almost a $5,000 check just to wrestle.
Whoa! To the state?
To the state, to the county, to everybody.
Wow!
It's next to impossible.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, because it's an
actually
event?
I do know, but we're not going to get into it.
Yeah. You're fine.
We're not going to get into it.
No need to get political.
But
just know that that's weird.
Yes.
There's no other sport that does that.
There is.
It's a big.
That's
event.
the problem. There is another sport that does that. That's the issue.
Can we talk about the other sport at all?
MMA and boxing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are lumped into that. $5,000
because of one guy.
Oh no.
That wants to get paid. Because nobody was going, because he was running all of those events in this area.
Oh wow!
And then he just knew the right people. Sometimes that helped. I'm stuck with him, and he knew all the right people. So,
No offense, dude.
I mean, I'm sure all his friends didn't need haircuts.
Not hair jokes, no hair jokes. But to know that Rey Mysterio, Mick Foley. I mean, there's some big names you're tossing around here that you worked with.
Ironically, Ray Kung Fu was Ray's idol.
Yeah,
and he wasn't a big name.
No,
he wasn't a big name. He was, as a matter of fact, he wasn't even a big guy. He wasn't even really a luchador. He was just a guy that wanted to thought hiding his identity would be a good idea.
Okay. But Rey Mysterio's huge.
Oh yeah, Ray was.
He was like one of my idols.
Yeah.
And Mick Foley, forget about it. That dude's awesome. In general.
The concept came from watching Mick. I was going to be the hardcore ninja. Is what the character was going to be.
Wow.
But the idea of a lot of those stunts are just too dangerous to do with untrained people, the people that you don't trust.
Oh, yeah.
And being in the ring is a lot about trust.
Well, how many? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And if you do like the person, well, not even if you don't even like them, you got to try to keep each other safe,
right?
Because it is your career.
I have been hurt trying to save someone else.
Oh, well,
and actually successfully saving someone else. I'm not gonna lie,
but still hurt yourself in the case, right?
It's a matter of how bad they're going to get hurt, bro. How bad you're going to get hurt.
Right. Maybe you could take it a little bit better, maybe. But so how many divisions of wrestling proper, I guess, are there? Not backyard wrestling and stuff. What kind of divisions are we talking about besides WWE?
Oh God, it's endless.
Okay, that's kind of what it feels like.
So
how do you keep track of it?
It's called independence. And thanks to social media, independent wrestling is becoming a lot
Yeah.
a lot more popular.
You hear a lot more about it these days.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like almost like the farm system for baseball teams.
Exactly.
Sure,
except for there's also a farm system that the WWE owns, as well as they still own a lot of independents.
Okay.
They own
So
a
it's
lot
like
of independents
their
in
farm
Florida. I think they still own one in Texas. I know they own one in Florida. Obviously, they still own one in the Connecticut, New England area.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask a question how to segue the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that we probably should talk about in our remaining 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So
We can
being
talk
a
about this all
luchador,
day, though.
wearing masks, is that what led into your love of cosplay and like establishing
No.
Geekmas and all these other things?
So this is what we were talking about earlier. For you nerds out there, and I'm going to call myself a nerd because I nerded out so hard the last one.
You really did.
Stop. And I've nerded out a few times.
It's not a bad thing.
No, well, with Tim Ernst, I'm a fanboy now. You want to call it?
That's
the first
an
thing
actual thing.
The
yes.
first thing you said was nerd events.
Yeah.
And then you said Geekmas.
Yeah.
And I
So-
had to say that again.
Geekmas.
Geekmas is the name of the event.
Okay.
It's not. It's going to be different this year. For those of you that have been there, keep your eyes out for that.
All right.
We can't do what we normally do, and I'm not going to get into why because we're not going to talk about politics.
Right.
VisionCon is just around the corner. I'm so proud of them moving to October. I can't wait for that.
Where is VisionCon?
VisionCon is at University Plaza here in Springfield.
Very cool.
Well, and Hawk does got all these things. He has his own booth, and he always dresses.
You dress up?
Yes. So
Tell us about your favorite cosplay.
My
costumes,
current
'cause he has a
costume-
lot of really good ones.
my current costume, I had help making.
He did.
And did you see the video I posted yesterday?
No.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's Kang.
Oh, really?
I'm working on another video because
3D printed the masks.
Yes.
It has all
Put
the
lights in
gloves,
it.
Has everything. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really cool looking.
Yep. Although
Extremely good
the video
looking.
I made, I forgot to wear the belt. I didn't realize it. It was terrible.
You got to wear accessories.
Because Kang is I hope to be the character they can keep. I don't know what's going on with Jonathan. I don't care.
So they
I saw some news about that.
do
but
they
yeah.
hire you to come in dressed like that?
I have been. Actually, matter of fact, next weekend when Spider-Man comes out, you can come see us at the Alamo or at B&B Theater in Nixa on Saturday, Alamo on Friday. You will see a lot of the spiders out there.
Because Hawk Hero will go to a lot of different events and just promote movies in
right.
character.
and take pictures.
Well, I have another friend of mine that does that. I don't know if you know Aaron Snape at all.
Yes.
He's doing he's got a couple of them, but he's Deadpool, Springfield Deadpool. He's got one of the coolest costumes I've ever seen, which is the Venom costume he's been working on for like 2 or 3 years.
And Aaron, I'll be happy to see it when you get it to work.
Oh man,
He's been trying to get Venom to work for 2 years.
dude, and it's all 3D printed, but he's got like the tongue that comes out of it, and it talks.
Oh, gosh.
And he's got so many little
Well,
things.
no, before
when you
even
get
the
into-
tongue came out, he had cameras in the eyes, and in behind it's
and that's
literally
how
what
he
it looked
watched it, like VR.
Yeah, but he never got him to date. The cameras still don't work,
Right.
So he can't wear it because he can't see.
Right. But it's,
What's the nice thing about what the fun thing about
It's
cosplay is
huge.
for me is one that's huge. One, you can dress up as a character, you can do this fantasy thing, but for me, it's really technical.
Yeah,
like you
it
can
is.
literally. My wife and I were working. My wife does a lot of cosplay stuff too.
She has helped me with so many events. She is
Yes.
so much nicer than David to be around.
Yes.
They
Anyway,
have been so helpful.
But she's got
But the
like
cool
legit
thing-
Star Wars stuff.
she does.
too,
She
right?
cosplays
Yeah.
as Rey. She has a couple other ones she does. Her twin sister Shannon just actually made a Mandalorian outfit, so she has like the jumpsuit and all.
I
the
love the
patches and
Mandalorian
helmet and everything like that. But that's what's fun about cosplay is it's not just that you're acting out these characters, but you can get really technical. You
With
can
the
make these
outfits.
really cool outfits. I saw some like people make full Iron Man outfits.
Yep.
Oh
Like
my
it literally looks
gosh.
like an Iron Man outfit, and they'll have like things pop out when they press buttons, and they'll have like all these devices that come
Well,
out
with
and do
3D
things, and-
printers now, it seems
I was
like
actually working on a War
everybody.
Machine, and I
oh,
I was
really?
completely disappointed with how they took the character, so I stopped
Oh,
working on it.
yeah.
Oh, really? 'Cause
But
now
you're
she
hit,
is
so
cool.
going back to his Kang outfit though, that's a 3D printed mask, and he
Yes.
has lights behind it, so it like lights up.
Dude, Kang is a badass.
Yeah.
Though, so that's a cool one.
I'm actually,
it's cool.
I can't, if I can pull off this next video, you're going to actually love it because it ties in with the Ant-Man movie, even though it wasn't that great.
right.
I finally saw it the other day when it came out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I
haven't
enjoyed
seen
it.
I haven't
but
seen the new
I
one
didn't
yet.
even enjoy it.
I
was
enjoyed it,
just-
but it wasn't the most
I
amazing
haven't seen the
thing.
new Guardians either. So
Me neither.
I've heard it's.
So
different.
both of them are stepping stones, and I hate stepping stone movies.
Oh yeah,
Can't
yeah.
stand
There's
it.
not much to it.
It's just
Yeah.
we got to do this so that we can do this.
Right.
And I can't stand movies like
Oh, I know, man.
Yeah.
But and I love movies in general because that's like it's our escape, right? And it's cool to see that there's so many people. Because back when we had the radio show, a good friend of mine is Derek Smith, who's Springfield Batman.
We need to have him on.
And he's got, I think, 3 suits that, I mean, he spent good money on these suits and helped creating those and things like that. But they're super legit, too, to the point where he can't even hardly ride in his car to get to places. So he has to put it on post, basically, and keep it in the car and then change when he gets to places with it because it's so hard to.
I don't have a, actually, that's not true. I have costumes that I can do that with. I choose not to.
I can only imagine.
They're just, oh my goodness.
What if you get pulled over, and you're.
Actually, that's the best part.
Okay.
Like, so when I do when I do my Captain America, I love for people to pull me over.
Oh, I bet, dude.
Because they'll always say, "Oh, you're the Falcon Captain America." Like, no, I'm Captain America. What's the problem? Like,
That's the problem.
What's the problem? You can't just call me Captain
we're
America.
picking you up from jail the next day.
Dressed in your Captain America costume. So tell us about all these events that you have going on, because I know David's going to wrap up here in a minute, and it flies by so
3
fast.
minutes.
Currently, we are preparing for Tremendicon here in Springfield. It's their second year out at the Oasis. Looking very much forward to
There's
that.
like 4 or 5 big events.
This
every
is
year.
nuts, man. This didn't happen that long ago, though, right? When did you start all these? I mean, Vision Con?
Vision Con is 35 years long.
Stop it.
Wow.
So it's we've been doing this for a minute.
But do you think when I would think the resurgence, or let's just say a surgence in the last 10 years since Marvel started coming out with so much stuff?
It's
Actually, they're actually less.
Really?
Than before.
No way.
COVID wiped out 4 events.
Oh, I could see
right.
that. Yeah.
And then
I'm kind of thinking more of like the attendance part of it, though.
yeah, no, it was
always been that big.
It's always been there was a new company that came in town whose name I won't mention or give them any credit whatsoever.
Fine, I won't say it.
Because they're terrible people. But
it had about 7,000 people go through.
at least.
I love Hawk.
Minimum.
I love Hawk.
He says
Minimum.
it as it is.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I love their event. But what they're doing to never mind. I'll get into it. We're not going to get into politics. That's for off. That's for off.
That's
So
for
7,000 people that went through enjoyed themselves.
That's for Patreon.
Although,
people.
Yeah, there we go.
and your wife and her sister came through and caused so much troubles, and I still like them more than I like you.
What'd they do?
I can't even say that.
Oh,
It was nothing terrible.
That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, no, it was nothing that got anybody thrown in jail, but
No, actually, that's not entirely true either.
it was nothing that got okay anyway. So it
We
wasn't anything
could've.
terrible. Could have. Yeah.
so now your wife's got to come on the show.
It wasn't my wife; it was her twin. Actually,
Yeah, it was her
more than
sister.
anything else.
Oh, really?
But their costumes
It was nothing bad.
That's so
amazing.
funny.
It wasn't anything actually bad.
And they
love it.
they'll show up at these events, and I'm a nerd, so I show up in nerd stuff. I show up in characters that I love, that I expect to see out of comic books. I love doing characters straight from the comic book versus from the movie.
That's awesome.
And then she shows up as Belle,
Yeah.
and I'm always
Actually, I think Shannon was Bo Peep.
like, she's
wasn't
Bo
she?
Peep. I'm always
Yeah.
worried. I'm like,
And Shauna was
is there going to be
Ray.
enough kids to enjoy it? And she crushes me every
It
time.
crushes you
They
every
get
time.
so many people coming up
Yeah.
to him.
It takes it a minute.
getting
but I
pictures
always
with
feel
them.
bad
Yeah.
if they don't get the kind of pop, because I'll show up as we
Captain
go.
America
They
and
get so
stuff.
much more attention. Than
I'll
me,
get I'll
sorry.
do Captain America. Or I'll do Black Panther, and
but that's a killer suit, though.
well, I did Black Panther at Multicultural Fest, and she did Belle and Ray. They did Belle and Ray, and I'm
slayed.
like, all right. And of course, Black Panther crushed.
Oh, good.
But every time I left, because she actually had the full on. So I had kids disappearing underneath her skirt.
Because she has a huge hoop skirt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and it's like it's
Well, and they'll
it's
go to
movie accurate and authentic as all get out, and I love it.
And you're making your own costumes
Yes,
too, right?
yes,
Like,
yes.
how long does it make you to make a Black Panther costume, though?
Well, I'm
gosh.
waiting. I'm almost done. I just finished printing the mask. I'm gonna stretch the fabric tonight, I hope.
Okay.
Because the new Spider-Man is out, and now I get to be the other Black Spider-Man, Spider-Punk. I'm looking forward to that.
Should be Spider-Man Noir.
And so, do you guys just noir? So, do you guys just show up to ththese events, or does Alamo like request you to be there?
Alamo requests. So a lot of times, I'm
Very
the only
cool.
Black Panther in town. So a lot of times, so if it's a Black Panther movie, B&B in Alamo, a lot of them will request me specifically.
Dude.
And they'll pay you for that, right?
That's killer, though.
No, we do this. We do this for the.
You do it for the kids.
We do this for the kids.
Yeah,
Miles Morales is the only Black Spider-Man.
Right.
I'm the only Miles Morales in town.
Sweet.
So I will show up. So and again, I'm debuting Spider-Punk this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna, and I'm trying to figure out how to get Miles and Spider-Punk in the same picture. I don't know how to do that yet, but I will.
Do you do any sort of charity events for kids?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So one of our biggest things, and the girls are trying to help me do this.
Totally
we used to do the hospital visits.
Yeah,
man. Once a month.
That's what Derek's
it
famous
was
for.
one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Dude, that's got to be.
And one of my funniest stories, and I know you want to wrap, so this is the story I'm going to tell to wrap, because I hope that Chris Tyler is listening to this, because I'm going to love it. He's his name is Chris. He is the Springfield Thor. He is uncannily looks just like the Thor from the movie.
Oh, I've seen him.
Yes.
I've seen him.
One
He even did Fat Thor, didn't he? At one point?
No, different guy. He refuses to ever do that.
Okay.
Refuses to ever do that.
Just making sure.
He's always done either the comic book or from the first movie.
Okay.
Him and I decided to go to do the hospital visit that weekend. And I had just debuted my Miles Morales costume. So I wasn't sure if anybody even knew who he was.
Right.
Because, if you don't read the comics and you haven't seen this our animated movie, it's still in theaters.
Which was kind of not a huge, big, robust coming out party.
No, it should have been, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was one of the best movies they've put out.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Really,
the best
actually,
animated thing that Marvel's ever made.
It was really good. Yeah.
So we go to the hospital, and I'm literally, and this is a normal cosplayer thing to do. I'm terrified that no one's going to recognize me.
Sure.
Absolutely terrified. We walk around for 2 hours, and it was a slow day, thankfully. We love when there's no kids there. There's 2 kids there. Yes, that means that they're not hurt. They're not here, and they're not here in the ICU.
Yes,
right.
It's a victory, really. I love that, dude.
I absorb that.
That's so cool.
And plus, we get to spend that extra attention for the few that are there.
Yeah, you can really focus on
the ones
them.
that we can.
Man.
We went through about, I say 5 rooms, because so the regular children's ward was empty. There was 2 kids. Man. We spent time with those 2 kids, went over to the ICU, spent time with those 2 kids, went over to the ER, spent time with whatever kids we could find.
Oh, man.
No one recognizes Chris.
Oh, gosh.
As Thor?
As Thor.
Stop it. But they recognize you?
Yes. That's not the bad part of the story.
Oh, no.
So he was getting sympathy pictures because no one knew who he was.
They're like, here, come on in here, bud.
Yeah. And one little girl, because how young kids nowadays, they have no filter.
Right.
Sure.
Their parents don't teach them to have a filter.
Right.
So she's like, are you some sort of wrestler or something?
Shut up. Oh, my God.
And her sister, who's right next to her, because he's got the cape on and everything, thinks, is he a surfer? He's some sort of surfer dude?
With that blonde hair, I could see that.
What gave it away? The big hammer? I mean,
I'm falling out laughing. And thankfully, I'm Miles, because I'm on the floor laughing.
And you're cheering inside.
Yes. Oh, my God, yes. And I realized none of the nurses know who he is either.
Shut up, dude.
The grown-ups did not know who he was. None of the nurses in the entire building that we interacted with, and we're talking 10, 15 nurses, nobody knew who Chris was.
How long ago was this?
This was right before COVID.
After all of those movies that came out.
This was the last.
And it's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, exactly.
All the girls love Chris.
He looks like Chris Hemsworth. Okay, this was
the poor guy.
This was the last hospital visit before COVID, as a matter of fact.
Oh my God.
In January of 2020.
Oh wow, that is amazing.
And that's a good story to wrap up on.
Dude, hey, Hawk, man, thank you so much for
Chris.
being here. Yeah, that is funny though, but you'll never let him live that down.
Never.
How's it gone since then? Is he still going through that?
Oh, I still tease him about it.
I hope so. But I hope people are starting to kind of see who he is. But no, Hawk, dude, this has been amazing. Thanks for bringing all your cool stuff. Thanks for being so cool. I think we need to have you back.
Anytime.
More often.
Anytime.
Our goal actually.
I'd be here more if David would get a haircut.
He's working on the Thor theme.
He's working on his jealousy, is what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah. Well, so what I've always wanted to do since I've known Derek so long is to have a few of you guys come in and talk about why you guys do what you do.
I've got an entire crew of Ghostbusters and alike that would be happy
and
to
they
come
actually
out
have they have the Ghostmobile. What was it called?
It is
Ecto. I've seen
They have Ecto 1.
Yeah, dude.
I'm one of the Ghostbusters as well.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we've got to do something, man. So, we need to be in touch. I'm sure you guys talk a lot. You sound like you do. Yeah. So we need to have you back. We need to do some more stuff with some of these people from Springfield, because I've seen the Springfield Joker. There's like all these people
that's
are in
the guys in
character
charge of the Ghostbusters, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So he's wearing many hats. But that's amazing that you guys spend your own time and your own money doing this stuff, and it really is just for kids. And thank you. For my kids don't go to these things much, but we might start doing it more often. Especially, when did you say Saturday? Next
weekend.
Okay, so like June 3rd.
June, yes. So is the premiere of, is it Into the Spider-Verse now?
I don't know.
Yes. Second version of it. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse.
So I will be Miles Morales on Friday and Spider-Punk on Saturday.
Very cool, man.
Nice. Alamo Theater and B&B Theater.
Dude, B&B, I'm in Highlandville, so I'll come to B&B, man. That's a nice venue too. But Hawk, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being so awesome, and thanks for doing what you do for kids.
Having me.
Absolutely, man. And it's an open invitation for you. So
I appreciate it.
But we appreciate what you do for the community, because that's really why you guys do it, and that's such a huge part of what we want to try to do too. So so again, thank you, and everybody else, keep exploring the Ozarks. Thanks again for listening to Exploring the Ozarks. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our social media channels to help us keep exploring the stories of the Ozarks. If you're looking for more ways to support our show, we have sponsorships for businesses and Patreon for individual supporters. Check the links in the description for more details. Thanks for your support, and keep exploring the Ozarks.